My name is Alex Parker. I am an assistant manager at Miller Tech, a big office in Chicago. Most days, I sit in a small cubicle under bright, buzzing lights. The air always smells a little like coffee and printer ink. I help lead my team on software projects. I like my job, but sometimes I feel nervous here. People do not talk much. Sometimes, when they do, it is only about work and it feels tense. I hope today will be different, but I can already feel something brewing in the air. Still, I want things to get better. This morning, my boss, Mr. Thompson, called me into his office. He had a serious look on his face. I tried to smile, but my hands felt cold. I wondered if I had made a mistake on the last project. As I sat down, Mr. Thompson closed the glass door behind me. He cleared his throat, then looked at his computer screen. "Alex, do you have the report ready?" he asked. My heart beat a little faster. I had started the report last night, but I was not done. The numbers were confusing and the data from my team was late. I knew I should have double-checked everything before this meeting. I looked down and said, "I am still working on it. I need a little more time." Mr. Thompson sighed, not angry but not happy either. "Alex, deadlines are important. We must work as a team. Can you finish by today?" I nodded, but inside I felt worried. Could I finish it on time? Did my team trust me to help them? I wondered if I was good enough for this job sometimes. Now, my hands were shaking as I went back to my desk. Back in my cubicle, I opened my email. There were messages from my team, Tracy and Kevin. Tracy wrote, "Did you check the numbers for the graph?" I got different results. I frowned. The team needed answers, but I did not know what to tell her. Kevin wrote, "Alex, can you talk to Mr. Thompson about project hours?" I remembered yesterday's meeting when Mr. Thompson wanted us to work faster. Kevin was worried too. I felt alone with these problems. At lunch, I sat with Tracy and Kevin in the break room. Tracy ate her sandwich quietly, not looking at us. Kevin tapped his fingers on the table, looking at his phone. "What did Mr. Thompson want?" Tracy asked, her voice low. I told them about the report and how I had to finish it today. "The numbers aren't matching," Tracy said. "Maybe someone made a mistake," she added, looking at me for a moment. I didn't know if she meant me. I hoped it was not my fault. I wanted to help, but I did not know how to fix the problem yet. After lunch, I walked back to my desk and tried to remember what I had learned in school about leading a team. I thought maybe I should ask for help, but I worried my team would think I was weak. Still, I wrote an email, "Team, can we meet for a few minutes to go over the numbers?" As I waited for their reply, I looked around the office. Everyone looked so busy, staring at their screens. No one talked or laughed. It felt heavy. I kept thinking if only we trusted each other more, things could be easier. But now I was unsure if I even trusted myself. After I asked my team to meet about the report, the day seemed to move even faster. An alert popped up on my screen, an urgent message from Mr. Thompson. He wanted the report by 3 o'clock, which was 2 hours sooner than I thought. My stomach tightened. I had not finished double-checking the numbers, and now the deadline was closer. My fingers shook as I typed a quick reply, telling him I would do my best. I was worried and my mind filled with questions. Did Tracy or Kevin finish their parts? Would we have enough time to fix the numbers? I bit my lip, feeling lost. Just then, Tracy hurried over to my cubicle. She had a worried look and carried a folder of printed pages. "Alex, I don't think these numbers make sense," she whispered, pointing to a chart with too many red marks. "Some data is missing from last week." I nodded, looking at the chart, realizing she was right. Someone must have forgotten to add the team's hours for 2 days. "Kevin did not update the spreadsheet," she said, her voice a bit sharp, her eyes darting over to his empty chair. I could feel Tracy's stress, and it made my chest heavy as if I was carrying the whole problem alone. I stood up and tried to find Kevin. He was in the small kitchen filling his coffee mug, staring into space. When I told him about the missing data, he frowned. "Sorry, Alex, I didn't know I had to update that file." "No one told me," he said. His voice was tired. I realized maybe I had not explained things clearly. I felt frustrated. I did not want to blame Kevin, but I needed his help now. My voice came out too fast and sharp when I said, "We all must check these things, Kevin. Please fix it." As soon as the words left my mouth, I worried I sounded harsh. Kevin stared at the floor and left without saying much. Back at my desk, I started to put the numbers together. Time ticked by, and my heart kept thumping. I sent another email asking for updates. Tracy answered quickly, while Kevin stayed silent. I felt the team slipping away. My head ached from thinking too hard. I wanted someone to help me, but I also wanted to show Mr. Thompson that I could do this on my own. Outside, dark clouds gathered. The sky looked stormy through the window. It matched how I felt inside, full of pressure and worry. Finally, I realized something had to change. My old way was not enough. Maybe we needed to talk more honestly. Maybe I needed to ask for help and listen instead of just working alone. I sat up straight and took a slow breath. I thought about what I really wanted, not just to finish the report, but to help my team trust me and for me to trust them too. If we did not work together now, the problems would only grow. I knew I had to stop being afraid and truly step up. The clock on the wall ticked loudly as I stared at the unfinished report. It was almost 3 o'clock. My hands felt sweaty and my heart pounded in my chest. If I turned in the report now, it would have mistakes. I could imagine Mr. Thompson shaking his head, disappointed. If I waited, I might miss the deadline and let everyone down. My mind spun with worry. For a moment, it felt hard to breathe. I remembered the hurt look on Kevin's face and Tracy's frustrated tone. The truth was, I had tried to do everything by myself. I did not want to seem weak, but now the team was suffering. Fear twisted inside me. But in that moment, something inside me changed. I could not keep avoiding help and hoping everything would be fine. I had to be honest with my boss and with my team. I stood up, wiped my hands on my pants, and walked to the small meeting room. Every step felt heavy but strong at the same time. I called Tracy and Kevin together. They looked tired too. My voice shook as I spoke. "The report is not ready. There are mistakes in the numbers. I cannot do this alone. I need your help. We are not working together right now, but we can fix it if we try." At first, the room was silent. Tracy glanced at Kevin. Kevin looked surprised but finally nodded. "We can review the file together right now," he said, softer than before. Tracy opened her laptop right away. The three of us worked side by side, going over every number. Kevin found where he missed the entries. Tracy double-checked the graphs against the documents. I filled in missing details and typed a message to Mr. Thompson. "We found mistakes. We need more time, but it will be right when we finish." I pressed send, my finger trembling. I felt scared telling the truth, but also lighter. Now I was not hiding anything. Time moved quickly as we focused. At one point, Tracy sighed. She said, "We keep making the same mistakes. Maybe we need to talk to each other more." Kevin nodded. I did not want to admit when I was confused, so I said nothing, he confessed. I admitted that I had been afraid to ask for their help, worried they might not trust me if I looked uncertain. But as we spoke, I saw their faces relax. Suddenly, I knew this was the reason things felt wrong here. We were all afraid to admit mistakes, afraid to trust each other. A few minutes before the deadline, Mr. Thompson walked into the room. I felt my muscles tense, waiting for anger. But instead, he listened as we described the problem and the way we were working together now. There was no miracle fix, but for the first time I saw my team as real people with worries, just like me. We handed in the report a few minutes late, but it was correct and we finished together. My chest felt lighter as I realized I had done something brave. I had faced my fear and I was not alone. After we handed the finished report to Mr. Thompson, I felt nervous and unsure. All the worry in my chest stayed heavy as he opened the file on his laptop. I waited for him to say something. There was almost total silence in the meeting room except for the faint hum of the computers. I saw Tracy chewing her lip and Kevin kept his hands tight around his coffee mug. I wanted to look away, but I made myself stand tall and face whatever would come next. Mr. Thompson scanned through the pages, clicking from one chart to another. His eyebrows went up when he saw the changes in the numbers and the new graphs we added. I thought maybe he was about to ask hard questions. My stomach felt tight. He finally looked at me and said, "This is a big improvement from this morning, Alex. I can see the team worked together to fix many problems." I let out a soft breath, and my hands stopped shaking for a moment. Kevin smiled, just a little, and Tracy sat up straighter. But Mr. Thompson did not stop there. He turned serious again and said, "You missed the deadline by a few minutes and last-minute changes are not ideal for the company. Next time, you all need to communicate better from the beginning." My cheeks grew red. I felt embarrassed and a little disappointed in myself. I did not want our mistake to hurt the team's reputation. I could see how our problems had affected the project, but something else was happening inside me. Even though Mr. Thompson's words were strict, I realized I did not feel small or afraid anymore. I felt different. I was not alone in the struggle. We had all helped finish the project together. After Mr. Thompson left the room, the silence did not last long. Tracy nudged my arm and said, "Good job telling the truth, Alex. I think we needed to see that it's okay to make mistakes when we try to fix them." Kevin still looked tired but managed a real smile this time. "I never told you I was confused with those files. Next time, I'll just ask," he said. I met their eyes, and suddenly I saw them clearly as teammates, not just people who worked near me. I felt proud. We had done something hard and learned something real together. Walking back to my cubicle, I found I was still nervous, but now it was the kind that comes with hope instead of fear. I wrote quick thank you emails and shared what we learned. We did better when we worked together. Next time, let's make sure we talk earlier. When I hit send, I noticed I was smiling. The air felt lighter in the office, as if some of the tension was gone. I finally understood I could ask for help. I could tell the truth even when it was hard. I could be a real part of the team. I saw that people are stronger together and that asking for help does not mean you are weak. In fact, it can be the bravest choice. For the first time in a long while, I did not dread the next project or the next deadline. I felt ready, and I knew all of us could do even better. After everything that happened with the report, I sat quietly at my desk, thinking about the day. The office felt different to me, calmer and not so lonely. I watched Tracy and Kevin at their workstations. When our eyes met, we smiled. It was small, but it meant things had really changed between us. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes for a moment, and took a deep breath. The fear I carried in the morning was gone now, replaced by a feeling of peace and pride I had not known before. Later that afternoon, I saw Ms. Carter, a senior manager who sometimes gave me advice. She noticed I looked thoughtful as I stood by the water cooler. "Rough day, Alex?" she asked, but her voice was kind. I nodded and told her what had happened, the mistakes, the last-minute rush, and how I finally asked my team for help. She listened patiently, her eyes bright with interest. When I finished, she smiled. "You know, Alex," she said, "trust is not built in perfect days. It's built when people are honest, face hard moments together, and keep trying. Her words stayed with me. I thanked Ms. Carter and walked back, thinking about trust. Today, I had been brave enough to admit mistakes and share my worries. I remembered how hard it was to step into that meeting room and tell my team the truth. But when I did, something good happened. We became stronger. I learned that being real, not perfect, makes other people want to help and share as well. Kevin came over before he left and said, "I always thought I should have every answer before I spoke up. But today I saw it's okay to be lost if we work through problems together." I nodded, happy he felt that way. Tracy also sent me a quick message. "Glad you reached out, Alex. Let's keep talking and helping each other." For the first time, I was not just an assistant manager. I was someone who others could trust. After most of the office had gone home, I opened a new file on my computer. I wrote down what I learned from the day. The words flowed easily. Working alone seems easier, but it's slower and riskier than asking for help. Trust starts with one honest step. As I wrote, I started to feel hope for the next challenge. I knew there would always be hard days, but I realized I did not have to face them alone anymore. In the past, I worried what people would think if I was not perfect. Today proved that showing real feelings can make a team closer. I gained confidence I never expected. I saw my mistakes as lessons, not as things to be ashamed of. Every small talk, each question asked, helped build trust one moment at a time. That evening, while locking up my desk and turning off my computer, I promised myself to never be afraid of the hard conversations again. I was ready for new projects, not because every problem was gone, but because I now believed in my team and myself more than ever before. The next morning, I walked into the office with a new feeling inside me. The bright lights and busy people seemed the same, but I could tell that something had changed, at least for me. My steps felt lighter and my thoughts were clearer. I sat at my desk, looked at my emails, and saw the start of a new project on my screen. This time, instead of trying to do everything by myself or waiting for problems, I took a breath and decided to try a different approach. I began the day with a message to my team. "Let's meet this afternoon to talk about the new project together," I wrote. I asked if Tracy and Kevin had any early ideas or concerns. I added, "Let's share every question or worry from the beginning, no secrets this time." The words were simple, but they felt powerful to me. Soon afterwards, both of them wrote back quickly with their thoughts and even a few worries they had. Right away, I saw that we could avoid the mistakes from before just by starting the conversation sooner. At the meeting, I did not focus on being the person with all the answers. Instead, I listened as Tracy explained her plan for the charts and Kevin talked about the files he would need from everyone. I nodded and encouraged them, asking, "What help do you need from me?" To my surprise, both of them answered honestly. "Remind me if I missed something," said Kevin. Tracy asked if we could check our work together at every step instead of at the end. We agreed to keep everything open with regular check-ins and to speak up if we felt stuck. As the week went on, it became easier to talk to my team. I stopped hiding when I felt uncertain and instead said, "Can we fix this together?" Sometimes we shared problems and sometimes even small successes like finding the right number or getting a task done early. For once, people laughed more in the office. The tense feeling that used to hang in the air seemed to fade. Tracy started stopping by my desk to check in, and Kevin would now send quick messages whenever he had a question or an idea. I felt like we were slowly building something stronger than just a finished project. We were starting to become a real team. I also noticed a shift inside myself. When my boss, Mr. Thompson, gave us new tasks or hard deadlines, I did not freeze or worry about looking weak. Instead, I went to the team first. "Let's decide together what comes next," I would say, or I would make sure everyone understood what was needed before starting. If something went wrong, we talked about it right away and encouraged each other. Each time, this way of acting felt less scary and more natural. By the end of the week, I realized that trust is not made in one big moment. It grows every day in small choices, open questions, and honest conversations. I grew much more confident both in the way I led and in the way I asked for help. Every day I tried to learn a little more from my team, and they did the same with me. We no longer felt like people working beside each other. Now we felt connected and strong together. I knew this new mindset would carry us through any challenge ahead. On Friday afternoon, I sat at my desk and looked out the window. The city below glittered in the soft afternoon sunlight. My computer screen showed the new project moving forward. Our teams shared notes and corrections, easy for everyone to see. There were still challenges, but they felt different now, as if each problem was smaller because I was no longer facing it alone. Each email I sent to Tracy and Kevin felt friendly, honest, and helpful. Even our busiest days no longer seemed as heavy or difficult. I realized I had changed, not because I became perfect, but because I now knew how to ask for help and give it, too. Later that day, Tracy stopped by my cubicle with a question about the data. I listened with patience before we started sorting the numbers together. Kevin also joined us, making a joke about avoiding another last-minute rush. We worked as a team, every voice important. The laughter between us was real, and even when a mistake popped up, no one felt scared or angry. Instead, we fixed it and shared a quick smile before moving on. As I packed up my desk that evening, I remembered how frightened I felt only days ago. I used to believe I had to carry every burden alone or try to hide my mistakes at all costs. Now I understood true strength at work does not come from pretending to be faultless, but from being open, learning together, and building trust step by step. I found myself walking around the office more, greeting people, asking about their work, not just my own. It surprised me how quickly a few honest words or simple questions could make the room friendlier and the work gentler. After work, I sent a quick email to the team to thank them. "We made real progress together this week," I wrote. "Every time one of us asked or answered a question, our work got better. Let's keep helping each other. I believe we can handle anything now." I hit send and felt a quiet pride settle in my chest. The old fear and doubt was still somewhere deep inside, but now hope was much louder. I realized that every challenge in the future would become a little easier with people I could trust and support, and who would do the same for me. That night, as I walked to the train with my bag over my shoulder, I thought about all that had happened. I smiled at my reflection in a store window and felt a gentle excitement for the days ahead. I was not perfect, and neither was my team, but together we were stronger, braver, and happier than before. Each step I took was filled with new confidence. I knew there would be more tough moments, but now I was sure that growth was possible for anyone, even in a place that once seemed so cold and hard. I was hopeful, ready for new projects and maybe new friendships along the way. The lesson from that stressful week stayed close to my heart. Trust and teamwork do not just change a job, they can slowly, quietly change your whole life for the better.